Hey everyone, Dom here, and it's currently Sunday as I'm finishing up this video. The current state of the world is pretty insane. I don't want to be insensitive, but I do want to continue to make sports content, and I don't want to spend the whole video speaking about the current events, but I feel the need to address them. While leagues in America have been guilty of racism before, I see the modern sports world as a key in our society overcoming racism rather than a piece of the system propping it up. Beginning with baseball and the late great Jackie Robinson, sports in America have consistently put players of all races on a truly level playing field, and this is how I, Dom, am doing my part in using my platform to acknowledge the injustices of racism and police brutality in all forms. Back to the video. Alright boys, it's Dom here, and I just wanted to update you guys on the current state of the 2020 MLB season. As I mentioned in my State of the MLB update vid over the weekend, the negotiations between the league and the players' union have been suspicious to say the least. Even before coronavirus, baseball fans were having bad dreams about the economic viability of baseball in today's sports climate. So when we wake up to the news that we may not have a season at this point of the year, the heart of every diehard baseball fan sinks. Every day the question looms, it becomes less likely that we see a season at all. This past week was the week that many reporters called it essentially over. It's extremely hard to tell what the true likelihood of it happening is, with the season slated to start at the end of June if they came to an agreement today, and the two parties still so wildly far apart on negotiations. The fans and media have been continually pushing for an urgent return to prevent what will become inevitable after next week. A year of no baseball, a possible labor war, and the minor leagues crumbling to an unknown extent. If you haven't seen my State of the MLB video, I give a thorough run-through of the lead up to this week's messy situation in just under 20 minutes, so go check that out if you haven't been following as of late. This week, the MLB rejected the Players Association's latest season proposal and has yet to propose a counteroffer. The response by most media has been ultra negative, with an abundance of negative news in the last few days in particular, and most reporting there probably won't be a season at this point. The latest news came Friday, as this Guardian article describes. You can go ahead and pause the video if you want to read it. There's a link in the description as well. The two parts of this that I really want to focus on though are the Tony Clark quote and the financial info. So beginning with this Tony Clark quote, earlier this week, Major League Baseball communicated its intention to schedule a dramatically shortened 2020 season unless players negotiate salary concessions, Union head Tony Clark said in a statement. The concessions being sought are in addition to billions in player salary reductions that have already been agreed upon. This threat came in response to an association proposal aimed at charting a path forward. Now, to me, this language and demeanor being taken by the union tells me they want to get a deal done. But I think they're playing hardball for the sake of negotiation, which brings us to the financial info in this article. Now, this can be looked at a ton of different ways, but the overall pandemic situation has made it impossible to continue with fans in the seats, which impacts the MLB far more than the NFL and the NBA, and poses a threat that we're discovering the magnitude of more and more every single day. Think about it this way, MLB ballparks are 40 to 50k seats, which is far more than NBA arenas at 16 to 20k, but considerably less than NFL stadiums at 60 to 80k. However, each of a team's 162 games gets far less TV viewership than other sports, and the MLB relies on their total revenue from attendance far more, especially in a digital age, and we know how little MLB tries and relies on social media. And don't even get me started on their unwillingness to allow a prosperous environment for fans, creators, or anyone who wants a user-based experience that doesn't come from MLB Advanced Media itself. That's a topic for another video, however. But as the MLB relies on the fans they can convince to attend games still, the subtraction of their ticket revenue makes the financial equation far worse for both owners and players. I think we'll just have to wait for the league to sort out the billions so we can watch the players play, which is what I think it will ultimately come down to, as both sides will take massive financial losses, and that's just how it'll end up being. Now, while we've heard a ton of perspectives on why this won't get done, one outspoken pitcher and YouTuber has a different outlook that he explained on the Pat McAfee show Thursday morning. To begin his appearance, Trevor Bauer says that negotiations should happen behind closed doors and shit should stop getting leaked to the public. He also mentions that he hasn't seen a single player that doesn't want to play baseball this year, and they all want to play for the positive effect it'll have on society. He says that athletes are risk takers, but there's bigger factors at play right now and added risk for their families. He highlights that the league has made negotiations ultra focused on the financial side of things, whereas players have continually been willing to take pay cuts to balance the books, but saw public health risk as the main obstacle to the season. However, the league made it all about money, as Bauer puts it.
Start of the season. So that's good. And then we just drive a wedge home right in between the fans and the players by making it all about the money and not about, the other stuff. And so for a long-term strategy as MLB, I don't know any other company that would intentionally sit there and drive a wedge between their customer and their product. It doesn't make sense that you would try to have your customers hate your product and think that that's good for a long-term strategy.
Yeah, so it's a shame the MLB chose to be so selfish in these negotiations, essentially scrapping the long-term health of the league, game, and everyone involved, all to play hardball with their own players' union. However, Trevor does conclude the topic by saying he thinks there's a 95% chance that we do end up having a season, reaffirming the idea that most of this news has been leaked as part of a big game of chicken. And now, as we do often, we wait again, hoping to see some positive MLB news tomorrow. Hey guys, thanks for watching to the end. It means a lot to me. This is the first video I've spent hours and hours and hours on before uploading to YouTube. If you drop a like, share it, comment, subscribe, it would all mean the world to me. And if I sound a bit raspy, it's because it's late as I'm finishing this, but thank you. Real quick, 2 more things I have to mention before I go. The draft is on the 10th and the 11th. If you guys want to see draft content, let me know. I think I'm going to make some. Here's the top 10 prospects. I'll make a video about some of these guys, no doubt. That would be way more fun than covering these negotiations and all this other negative crap that's going on in the world right now. I also want to thank anybody who watched to the end. I appreciate it. If you did, let me know in the comments for our first comment question of the day. What percentage do you think the likelihood is the MLB 2020 season eventually takes place? Thanks again. This is my first non-live stream on the channel, and I'm trying to learn and grow as a video maker and figure out a good direction to take my channel within sports. Let me know if you have any suggestions, anything you really like hearing me talk about, anything you don't like hearing me talk about. It would really help me out. And I'll see you guys on Monday with another new video. You know how I'm rocking. Deuces.